Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of The Authentic Effect with Alexander, the AAA Experience. We're coming at you with another Masculinity Mondays today. We're getting into part 2 of The Wounded Masculine. And today we're going to cover a little bit about what we can do to help heal these wounds and what the next few steps in engaging ourselves are to become more divine, more present in our masculinity. Step 1 is going to be addressing and admitting the fact that we are wounded in the first place. As men in society, we're generally taught, pain and all that other stuff. We push it aside. Sadness, heartache, all that stuff. We push that all aside and we man up. And in my opinion, that term man up really should mean to face these things rather than repress them. A true man is going to take full presence of himself when faced with a confrontation, when faced with a battle, when faced with adversity. A warrior will overcome and a king will conquer. A king will learn how to envelop warring nations into one collective and learn how to engage everybody within their best talents, their best interests at heart, and really step up to that leadership role. So to engage in that, we have to admit that we're wounded in the first place. We have to be vulnerable. We have to say, I fucked up. I messed up. I did this, and it's nobody else's fault. There's no narrative to follow as why it happened. There's no explanation to it. I did this. I was a part of this. This did not exist without my presence. We have to be vulnerable with that. We have to let down our guard to say, I know what I'm doing at all times, because we don't. We don't always know what we're doing. We want to think that we do. It's comfortable to think that we know what we're doing all the time, but we don't. And to be honest, there's a beauty in that. When we can let go of expectation, when we can let go of a control status towards, facing the unknown or facing new experiences, we can really open up to these things that we haven't experienced yet, to things that we don't have knowledge about. That's a blessing. That's a gift to be able to receive these things that weren't in our presence before. So to be able to put on this show, this facade that, I already know. You're missing out. Grow up. Man up and grow up and start being vulnerable in your situations. This doesn't mean being weak. This doesn't mean, becoming soft. This means becoming vulnerable, becoming open, becoming comfortable enough with yourself to know what you need and know what expressions need to take place, what releases need to take place. Hell, myself, last week, I was going through a crazy upgrade. My root chakra was upgrading. I had to release a whole bunch of old narratives and expectations and outcomes, all this stuff that I didn't even think was still bunged up, but it was backed up in there. And when I got to that point of release, you know what ended up happening? I cried. I cried every day for 3 days straight. It was not all day, but there would be points that would trigger me and I would just start crying because it was a part of the release. It needed to happen. I didn't sit there and go, be a big tough man and don't cry. No, I needed to cry in those moments. Some of the moments were well triggered. It was watching movies and it gets to a real emotional part. Empath, I'm vulnerable in that moment. I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable in that moment. I tap into the energy of the scene or whatever's taking place. Boom, waterworks. But there were some instances, because of the vulnerability, the more you open up to it, there was stuff that, I was crying to that I shouldn't have been crying about. But that's part of the release. And to be able to admit that shows the comfort level towards being who you are. There's no shame in releasing the things that no longer serve you. Explain the purpose of holding on to it. If you're waiting for something more to come, You can't if you're still holding on to space. You gotta be vulnerable, you gotta release, and you gotta start letting go of expectation towards who you're supposed to be as a man, and just be who you are as a man. Time to step up, y'all. All right, hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to see you on the next run. Have a fantastic week. Get vulnerable, get released, and we're going to see you on the next time. Have a great day.